Good morning, Sean here. Speaking of all right, Gary Sauls, you're all right, Gary.
I'm all right, Sean.
I'm all right, Sean. Well, I'm glad, Gary. I'm glad Mary
That's my
Sauls
enthusiasm
for the day.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Gary, you had a nice little break for yourself, and you went and saw yet another resort community to kind of get a bird's eye view of what goes on down at Whistler.
Yep.
How was it?
It was good. We've been there, done it once. That's good.
Yeah.
We're content. My wife had never been there, and I haven't been there in about 35 years. So it was kind of interesting to go and look around and see what's going on. Starting today, Crankworks is in Whistler, so there was a big thing gearing up for that. I've never seen so many mountain bikers, but it was good to see how they do things and the differences that we have here.
Yeah, what we could do and what we would never want to do, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's call a spade a spade. You got to look at what you don't like so you know not to do it.
Correct.
So, Gary, I had a question here for you, and I'll go through it, and if you can answer it, great. If you can't, we'll recap it next week if you get more specifics from the department. Okay. So I got a message this morning from a local. Last Friday, the mayor reported doing a piece of Airport Way and some water main alterations and installing a sewer main south of Airport to Shield Road. It appears the sewer main is not in the contract, so the city intends to repave the road without proactively installing a future required sewer main for Shield Road and the Lee Road. If this is true, in the sewer main, which is about 12 feet deep at Airport Way and Nickel, the current 500K plus repaving of Airport Way would be wasted, as they will need to redo it all over again to install the required sewer main.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with that. I know that there's a proponent who needs to hook up some stuff to his project up in that area, and maybe that's the concern, is it adequate to connect his stuff up to what's there? I'll have to check with engineering and actually get back and get an answer because I'm not familiar with the details of that.
So what you're saying, as the local undertaker, you don't know about sewer mains at our Airport Way. Okay.
Not this particular one.
Okay. He had an example of that. This happened on Nickel Road west of Airport Way, the repaving of 350 feet about 18 months ago, and they dug it up again and then had to repatch it. So maybe, I guess it could be an example, or ask them about that in specifics and find out a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we'll see what we can find out.
Okay, then we'll get that specificity next week. So, Gary, I know that you were a little bit out of, you got to stay out of reach for a little while. You got to have your own personal life too. But while you were away, you missed all sorts of fun going on.
That's what I'm being told.
Yeah, between the RCMP, that was a bit of a debacle going on. Picking up plastic up at RMR, there was a bit of a miscommunication there in regards to the Revelstoke community page. So, Gary, it's like you go away for a couple days and you come back and the wind is just whirling over here, isn't it?
It is what it is. Those things happen. So the one thing I wanted to mention this morning is as I look around the community, definitely the work is started on 3rd Street. Mm-hmm. Parking is there for those businesses in the old school property, and that's scheduled to go 4 to 8 weeks. So I'm not sure how quick they'll
So we're looking at October, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're going to have to reroute around 3rd Street, around that particular area.
Around that area.
Okay.
Yep, there'll be detours.
And what is it that they're doing? It's the lines.
They're relocating the sewer main on that. You can see how it's things have started to slough down the hill for whatever reason. So they're looking at that, trying to find out what the reason is for things sloughing, but also to make sure that we relocate that sewer main so that in the future, should something slide a bit, it's not going to affect any of that infrastructure.
Okay, and I've noticed that back in my old neighborhood that they've torn out the sheds, and it looks like they're beginning the very early preliminary stages of the actual roundabout that'll eventually be there.
Yep, that's correct. So communication with CPR as well. They're going to have their track realignment and the track removed and whatnot. They hope to have all of that done by November 1st.
Kind of wondering about the realignment. They don't even use that back stretch of track that goes from where the old bocce set is, to, past the end of track line.
My understanding is in the winter they need that for their snow plow. So they're going to kind of change how that interacts with the community. going to realign or move some of those lines and make it so that they can actually curve the track a bit and still have length for their snowplows, but they're not going to be encroaching on the roundabout.
It's going to be suggestively big if they're tearing out those sheds right there on the corner. You're thinking that's a pretty big roundabout.
Well, there's going to be a greenway in there as well, so those sheds are being relocated on the properties that they're coming off of, just that they'll have access from the alley and not the road the way they are now.
Oh, okay, I got you, because you won't be able to pull in or out. I got
Correct.
you. Okay, that makes some sense. And is there anything else that's going on that's progressive out of City Hall? I know that we have a new staff. Pardon me, we don't have a new staff member. We have a staff member leaving, and so we're going to be looking for more staff. Seems to be a recurring theme.
Yep, so we're interviewing right now. CAO is looking for climate change coordinator. So that's kind of similar to what Penny Page Britton was doing, in the final stages of going through interviews and whatnot for engineering.
Is there anything else that you think is pressing that's coming up? I know it's August, and right now usually things are generally fairly quiet in terms of excitement just because of the nature of the summer.
I've got nothing that we need to be alerted to at this point anyway.
Oh, and a quick reminder, I believe this week, is it Tuesday, that there is the public forum about Mackenzie Village?
Yep, there'll be a public hearing within the context of the meeting, the council meeting, and that's basically dealing with some lines that have been moved and some changes to the MDA with roads within the project.
All right, and the Farwell Splash Park looks like it'll be opening on Thursday.
Yep, looks good. We're good to go.
All right, well, thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. Take care. You're welcome.